In a grand hall aboard the flagship of the Galactic Empire, powerful leaders gathered to discuss Earth. The room was filled with chatter and laughter as they shared their thoughts about the tiny blue planet. Many had never even seen Earth, but they were all certain that it was a weak and foolish place. They believed that taking it over would be an easy task. "Look at their technology!" boomed Lord Zarek, the Empire's commander. He leaned back in his chair, a smug smile on his face. "They think they can defend themselves with simple machines and old weapons. It's almost laughable." The other leaders joined in the laughter. They imagined humans trying to fight against the might of the Galactic Empire. Some leaders shook their heads, amused by the idea. They saw Earth as nothing more than a playground, a place they could easily conquer. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Meera Patel was hard at work. She was a young scientist with a passion for uncovering the secrets of the past. Her team had recently discovered strange energy signals coming from an abandoned military base. This old base was located in a remote area hidden from the world. The signals were unlike anything they had seen before, and curiosity drove Dr. Patel to investigate further. Could this be a lost warship? She wondered aloud. Her colleagues looked at her with a mix of excitement and disbelief. They knew that Earth's military technology had fallen far behind compared to the advanced ships of the Empire. Yet something deep inside them felt a flicker of hope. Days passed as Dr. Patel and her team worked tirelessly to uncover the mystery. They spent long hours in the lab, analyzing the signals and digging through old records. As they pieced together the data, they realized that they were indeed onto something significant. They had found an ancient warship, the USS Prometheus, and it was still intact. Back in the Galactic Empire, the leaders continued their meeting. As they discussed their plans for Earth, a messenger burst into the room. His face was pale, and he looked anxious. "My lords, we have dispatched scouts to Earth. They report strange activities in an old military base, but it seems unimportant," he said, trying to calm his superiors. "Strange activities," scoffed General Taryn, another high-ranking official. "What can those primitive humans possibly do? They are not a threat to us." The Empire's leaders dismissed the messenger's concerns. They were confident in their power and strength. They had the latest ships and weapons, and they could crush any resistance easily. The laughter continued, echoing through the grand hall. Dr. Patel's team finally succeeded in reviving the USS Prometheus. They were amazed to see the old warship come to life, its systems powering on one by one. It was a magnificent sight, a testament to humanity's ingenuity and spirit. The ship was equipped with advanced weaponry and stealth technology, far beyond what the Empire believed Earth possessed. "This is our chance!" Dr. Patel exclaimed, her eyes shining with determination. "We can show the Galactic Empire that we are not as weak as they think." The team felt a surge of hope. They knew they had to warn Earth about the Empire's plans, but they also realized they needed to prepare for battle. They worked day and night, turning the USS Prometheus into a powerful weapon for humanity. As the Galactic Empire made its final plans for the invasion, they remained blissfully unaware of the storm brewing on Earth. They were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. The Empire's laughter would soon fade, replaced by shock and fear as Earth prepared to fight back against its invaders. Dr. Patel stood on the bridge of the USS Prometheus, looking out at the stars. "We will defend our home," she said with determination. "They may laugh now, but soon they will see the truth." The USS Prometheus hummed to life in the dimly lit hangar. Dr. Meera Patel stood before the massive warship, her heart racing with excitement. This was not just a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's strength and resilience. She could hardly believe they had revived it. The old warship was now a beacon of hope for all of Earth. "Let's get to work," she said to her team. Her voice was filled with determination. "We need to make sure everything is ready before we show the Empire what we can do." Her team jumped into action. Engineers, technicians, and scientists filled the hangar with energy. They moved quickly, checking systems and repairing parts that had been damaged over the years. They were driven by the knowledge that their world depended on them. As the days passed, the ship transformed. Advanced weapons were installed, and stealth technology was activated. The USS Prometheus was no longer an old relic. It was a modern marvel. Dr. Patel marveled at how far they had come. Each improvement fueled her belief that Earth could stand against the Galactic Empire. Meanwhile, news of the revived ship spread across Earth. People began to talk about the USS Prometheus and what it represented. Hope filled the hearts of many. They were no longer afraid of the Empire's laughter. They had something to fight for. In a meeting with world leaders, Dr. Patel shared their progress. "We have a chance to defend our planet," she said passionately. "The USS Prometheus is powerful. With it, we can send a clear message to the Empire. Earth will not be an easy target." The leaders listened intently. They saw the spark in Dr. Patel's eyes and felt a wave of unity among them. Countries that had once argued and fought with each other were now coming together. They realized that humanity was stronger when united. "We must prepare for battle," a leader from a neighboring country declared. "Let's work together to support Dr. Patel and her team. We will not let the Empire take our home." As plans were made, Dr. Patel's team worked day and night. The excitement was palpable. They could feel the energy of their shared purpose. The hangar buzzed with activity, and every worker felt they were part of something bigger than themselves. One evening, as they were making final adjustments, Dr. Patel gathered her team. "We need to test the ship's capabilities," she said. "We cannot wait for the Empire to attack us. We must be ready." The team nodded in agreement. They took the USS Prometheus for its first flight in years. As the ship soared into the sky, cheers erupted from the ground below. People looked up in awe as the once-lost warship flew gracefully, its engines roaring with power. "Prepare for weapons testing," Dr. Patel commanded. The crew focused on their tasks, ensuring everything was in place. They aimed the ship's weapons at a safe target in the ocean. "Firing in 3, 2, 1, Dr. Patel shouted. A loud blast echoed as the ship's weapon fired, hitting the target with perfect precision. The explosion lit up the sky, and the crew erupted in cheers. They were filled with a sense of pride. The USS Prometheus was back, and it was powerful. "We did it!" one of the engineers shouted, jumping with joy. "We have a real weapon to defend our planet." Dr. Patel smiled, knowing they had taken a crucial step. They were no longer hiding in the shadows. They were ready to fight back. But there was still much to do. They needed to spread the word and prepare for the Empire's inevitable attack. As Dr. Patel looked out at the stars, she felt a sense of calm. They were no longer a laughingstock. They had awakened a sleeping giant. Soon, the Galactic Empire would learn that Earth was not as weak as they thought. With the USS Prometheus leading the charge, humanity was ready to stand up and defend their home. The Empire's laughter would soon turn to fear, and Dr. Patel was determined to show them what humans were truly capable of. The day had finally come. The USS Prometheus was ready for its first real mission. Dr. Meera Patel stood on the bridge, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. She looked around at her crew, who shared her determination. Today they would show the Galactic Empire that Earth was not to be underestimated. "Listen up, everyone!" Dr. Patel called out. Her voice was strong, cutting through the nervous chatter. "We are about to send a message to the Empire. We will defend our planet, and we will do it together. Our mission is to intercept the Empire's scout ships and demonstrate our power. They will learn that we are not weak." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by Dr. Patel's words. The ship's engines roared to life, and the USS Prometheus lifted off the ground, soaring into the clear blue sky. As they broke through the atmosphere, Earth fell away beneath them, and they entered the vastness of space. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Empire's command center, the leaders were busy planning their invasion. They had sent out a small fleet of scout ships to gather information about Earth. Lord Zarek sat at the head of the table, confident and smug. "These scouts will report back soon. We will know everything about their defenses. After that, it will be easy to take over," he said, chuckling to himself. But the Empire was about to be surprised. As the USS Prometheus glided through the stars, the crew worked with precision. They scanned for the scout ships, looking for any sign of the Empire. Suddenly, the sensors beeped loudly. "We have multiple targets approaching," shouted one of the officers. "They're heading straight for Earth." Dr. Patel felt a rush of adrenaline. "This is it! Prepare to engage," she commanded. The crew moved quickly, readying the ship for battle. The USS Prometheus powered up its weapons, the ship glowing with energy. The scout ships appeared on the radar, small and sleek, darting through space. They looked confident, unaware of the threat that the USS Prometheus posed. As they got closer, Dr. Patel's heart raced. "Stealth mode, now!" she ordered. The ship's lights dimmed, and it blended into the background of stars. The Empire's scouts flew past, thinking they were safe. But just as they passed, the USS Prometheus sprang into action. "Now!" Dr. Patel shouted. The ship's weapons fired, hitting the first scout ship with a bright flash. The explosion lit up space, sending debris flying. The crew cheered, but there was no time to celebrate. The other scout ships turned, their alarms blaring. "Lock on to the next target," Dr. Patel commanded. The crew worked quickly, targeting the remaining ships. They fired again, and another scout ship exploded in a shower of sparks. Panic filled the Empire's ships as they realized they were under attack. "This cannot be happening," Lord Zarek shouted back at the command center. He could hardly believe that humans were fighting back with such power. "Send a distress signal. We need backup." But it was too late. The USS Prometheus had taken control of the battle. The crew worked like a well-oiled machine, firing and dodging attacks from the remaining scout ships. Dr. Patel guided them expertly, her voice steady and calm. "Keep firing! Show them what we've got!" she yelled, her excitement growing. They were winning, and the thrill of victory surged through her. The final scout ship attempted to escape, but it was no match for the USS Prometheus. With one last blast, the ship was destroyed, and the crew erupted in cheers. They had taken down the Empire's scouts with skill and teamwork. Dr. Patel breathed a sigh of relief. "We did it!" "This is just the beginning," she said, her voice filled with pride. They had sent a clear message to the Galactic Empire. Earth was ready to fight back. Meanwhile, the Empire was in chaos. The leaders were furious and confused. They had laughed at Earth, thinking it would be an easy conquest. Now they realized their mistake. The humans had awakened a power they never expected. As the USS Prometheus returned to Earth, Dr. Patel looked out at the stars, her heart swelling with hope. They had taken the first step in a fight for their planet. The battle was just beginning, and she knew they would be ready for whatever came next. The news of the USS Prometheus's victory over the Galactic Empire's scout ships spread like wildfire across Earth. People cheered in the streets, filled with pride and hope. They had seen that humanity could fight back. But deep in the Galactic Empire's command center, panic was setting in. Lord Zarek paced back and forth, his anger boiling. How could this happen? "We underestimated them," he shouted at his advisors. "They took down our scout ships with ease. We must teach them a lesson." The Empire quickly assembled a larger fleet to crush Earth's defenses. Warships, cruisers, and fighter ships filled the dark void of space, ready to strike. The Empire was determined to show Earth the true power of their forces. Back on the USS Prometheus, Dr. Meera Patel and her crew prepared for the battle ahead. They knew the Empire would not take their defeat lightly. "They will come back stronger," Dr. Patel said, her voice steady. "We need to be ready for anything." The crew worked tirelessly, checking systems and preparing weapons. They practiced maneuvers, determined to outsmart the Empire once again. Tension filled the air, but it was mixed with excitement. They had proven themselves once, and now they would do it again. As the USS Prometheus floated in orbit around Earth, the sensors began to beep. "Incoming ships!" an officer shouted. The crew rushed to their stations, their hearts racing. "It's the Empire. They've brought a massive fleet." Dr. Patel took a deep breath. "Prepare for battle! We must hold them off!" she commanded. The ship's crew readied their weapons, adrenaline pumping through their veins. This was the moment they had been waiting for. The Empire's ships appeared on the radar, dark shadows against the stars. They moved with speed and purpose, heading straight for the USS Prometheus. "They're coming in fast," another officer warned. "Activate shields," Dr. Patel ordered. The ship glowed with energy as the shields powered up, ready to absorb the impact of enemy fire. "Here they come!" The crew watched as the Empire's warships opened fire, bright blasts of energy racing toward them. The USS Prometheus shook as the first hits landed, but the shields held strong. "Return fire! Target their lead ship!" Dr. Patel shouted. The crew worked swiftly, firing their weapons. Bright beams of light shot from the ship, striking the enemy with precision. The lead ship began to break apart, and cheers erupted from the crew. "Keep firing!" Dr. Patel encouraged. "We can't let up!" But the Empire was relentless. More ships moved in, surrounding the USS Prometheus. The battle raged on, and the crew fought bravely. They dodged blasts and returned fire, determined to protect their home. Suddenly, an enemy cruiser loomed close, ready to attack. "Brace for impact!" an officer yelled. The USS Prometheus rocked as the cruiser slammed into them. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to regain control. "Damage report!" Dr. Patel demanded, her voice firm. "Shields at 50%. We're losing power," an engineer replied, panic in his eyes. "Divert all power to the shields. We cannot let them breach our defenses," Dr. Patel commanded. The crew worked quickly, moving energy to the shields to keep them strong. Outside, the battle was fierce. The stars lit up with explosions as ships clashed. The USS Prometheus fought bravely, taking down several enemy ships, but the Empire's numbers were overwhelming. Dr. Patel knew they needed a plan. "We can't hold them off like this," she said, her mind racing. "We need to create a distraction. Maybe we can lure them away," suggested an officer. "If we lead them away from Earth, we can give our people time to evacuate." "That's it!" Dr. Patel exclaimed. "We'll create a diversion. All ships, follow my lead!" The crew prepared for the risky maneuver. Dr. Patel piloted the USS Prometheus into a series of tight turns, dodging enemy fire. The Empire's ships followed, confused by the sudden change in tactics. As they moved away from Earth, the USS Prometheus unleashed a barrage of fire, targeting the enemy's weaker ships. The distraction worked. The Empire's forces were thrown into chaos, unable to keep up with the human ship's agility. "Now! Keep firing!" Dr. Patel shouted as the crew fought with all their might. They had turned the tide, proving once again that humanity was not to be underestimated. With renewed hope, the crew pressed on, determined to protect their home and send a clear message to the Galactic Empire. Earth was ready for battle. The battle was over, but the echoes of the fight lingered in the air. The USS Prometheus floated in the darkness of space, surrounded by the wreckage of the Galactic Empire's ships. Dr. Meera Patel and her crew had fought bravely, but the cost was high. They had lost friends and allies in the struggle, and now it was time to reflect on what had happened. As the crew gathered on the bridge, the atmosphere was a mix of relief and sadness. They had defended Earth, but at what price? Dr. Patel stood in front of her crew, her heart heavy. "We fought hard today, and we showed the Empire our strength," she said, her voice steady. "But we also lost many good people. We must honor their sacrifice." The crew nodded, understanding the weight of her words. They had come together as a team, and now they had to support each other in the aftermath. Dr. Patel looked around, seeing the tired faces of her crew. "We will rebuild, we will heal, and we will be ready for whatever comes next." As the USS Prometheus made its way back to Earth, the crew began to assess the damage. They worked together, repairing systems and ensuring the ship was safe for the journey home. The mood slowly lifted as they shared stories of bravery and teamwork during the battle. Each tale brought laughter and tears, reminding them of their strength. Meanwhile, on Earth, celebrations were underway. People crowded the streets, waving flags and cheering for their heroes. News of the humans' victory spread quickly, inspiring hope across the planet. Dr. Patel and her crew were no longer seen as just explorers, they were champions of humanity. As the USS Prometheus landed on Earth, the crew was greeted with cheers and applause. Families rushed to embrace their loved ones, and the pride in the air was palpable. Dr. Patel stepped off the ship, feeling a wave of emotions wash over her. She had led her crew into battle and brought them home. They had proven that humanity could stand up to the Galactic Empire. After the initial celebrations, Dr. Patel and her crew met with government leaders to discuss the future. They needed to prepare for the Empire's next move. "We cannot let our guard down," she said during the meeting. "They will come back. We need to strengthen our defenses and unite as a planet." The leaders nodded, recognizing the truth in her words. They had seen the power of the Empire, and they understood the need for cooperation. Plans were quickly drawn up to enhance Earth's military capabilities and create alliances with other worlds. The humans would no longer be passive, they would take action. As days turned into weeks, Earth began to transform. People trained in various skills, learning how to defend their planet. Scientists and engineers worked together to develop advanced technologies. The spirit of innovation thrived, fueled by the desire to protect their home. Dr. Patel visited schools and communities, inspiring the next generation. "You are the future," she told them. "You will be the ones to protect Earth. Remember, we are stronger together." Her words ignited passion in the hearts of many young people. They wanted to be part of the fight, ready to stand against any threat. But even as they prepared, the Galactic Empire was not idle. Lord Zarek seethed with rage in his command center. "Those humans have humiliated us," he growled to his advisors. "We will not allow this to go unpunished. We will crush them." Plans for a new attack were set in motion, and the Empire began gathering its forces. But this time, they would face a united Earth, ready to defend itself. The humans had learned from their experiences, and they were determined to protect their world. As Dr. Patel looked out at the stars from her ship, she felt a sense of determination. The fight was not over, but they had taken a stand. Earth was no longer just a small planet, it was a beacon of hope. Together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The Galactic Empire had underestimated them once, but they would not make the same mistake again. With the sun setting over the horizon, Dr. Patel felt a spark of hope. They would be ready, and they would fight for their future.